Hey, shh. My turn. We are Weekend Recap. I am with my friends Landon and Hannah and Sarah. My name is Sethry. Good to have you guys with us. Today we're going to open with something fun, a little bit of Would You Rather. And I was very careful about the protocol for this because none of us know which right?
Mm-hmm. He was very careful.
I'm yelling at like your phone's face up right now. Why? Why would you do that?
Sorry.
All right. I was about to tell everybody the rules.
Apologies.
Be like, what Landon's doing is what we're not doing. So, our awesome producer Marcus is about to send us Would You Rather questions that we have not seen up until this point. So we are going to, in the moment, respond to Would You Rather questions. Great. All right? Everybody good?
Good.
Going to do 2 rounds of this. So Marcus, whenever you send the first one. All right, let's see if I have a notification. All right, here we go. Sethry. Remove all Disney parks from existence. I don't like how this is going so far. Remove all Disney parks from existence or remove any trace of Star Wars from existence.
It's May the 4th right now, by the way.
Oh my gosh. This is the worst thing you've ever done to me, Marcus. Okay. I'm going to, with deep regret, say that would mean that Disney parks are gone. Because you can watch Star Wars every day, and it's May the 4th right now. So,
and there would be Star Wars parks everywhere. You don't need
How many
Disney.
times have you been to Disney?
A lot, which is why I can say it can go away.
No, I think this is a real question.
Of those memories.
How many times have you been to Disney? Let's count.
Oh, I couldn't.
You couldn't?
No,
At least 10, 12, something like that.
Wow. 10. Look at Marcus's
That's
face.
why I have no money.
That's why.
And now no memories.
I have been once when I was like 10.
I'm going to take you to Disneyland. That's what we're going to do. And Marcus,
Social
too. Marcus needs to go. We're going to go to Disneyland. That's where our next podcast is going to be. No, it's not. But let's go. All right. So I just
get left out of burgers. Get left out of
the
Disney.
painstaking
Fine, we're
choice
just here in the corner.
to remove Disney parks from existence. Ooh, it hurts me, but we need Star Wars.
Hey,
By the way,
way to be
repping the
brave.
Star Wars shirt, May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with all.
All right.
May the
Hannah,
Lord be with you.
That was the
read
easiest.
your question.
Would you rather?
It was
there ever was.
It hurt me, but the point is you have to make hard choices in life.
Oh, and how
Hey,
many
you are so
family
decisive.
memories do you have around Star Wars versus at Disney?
I have sent many texts with my family today about May the 4th be with
All
you.
right. Let's see. Know when you're going to die or how you're going to die. Ooh.
Ooh. That's existential.
I feel like if I knew how I was going to die, I would like intervene in the moment of my.
But what if your intervening
causing
actually
you
led to it
to
happening?
die that way.
It'd be one of those things.
Ooh, that sounds way too complicated. I think I would rather know when I was going to die than how.
Okay.
Because I think that would bring like way too much fear and like stress in my life. To know like if it was a car, then I would every time I got in the car I'd be like, is this the time? Oh my gosh, I don't know.
What if it was something random like it's a cherry blossom tree and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm never going by any cherry blossom trees ever. And then one day you thought you were hiding from a cherry blossom tree but ran under one.
And a lightning bolt.
If you knew when you were going to die, how would it change how you lived? Didn't you just
I would
post something to
go
Facebook? somewhere about
skydiving. I'd go Rocky Mountain climbing. 2.7 seconds.
On a bull named Fu Manchu. I got you.
Oh, that was dumb.
All right.
Country music.
Well, why don't
for
you just
right
go
there.
ahead and, on that note, Landon, what's your would you rather? You can now look at your phone.
Oh, great. I'm crying. Marcus has not sent me.
He sent it to all of us.
All right. Would you rather be able to time travel or be able to stop time?
Ooh.
Oh, wow. That's hard.
Ooh.
There's 2 movies I like. Clock Stoppers, which was a really good movie about being able to pause time. Disney movie, by the way. And then...
Also, there's Click. Just
I
saying.
know why I'm still laughing. I can't stop crying.
Did you say I would climb a Rocky Mountain?
And then my other favorite movie is about time, which is about time traveling.
Yes.
So, oh gosh. Except for in About Time, he decides not to time travel because he wants to live in the moment. So I'm going to go with being able to stop time so I can see my kid when he's real little for a long time. Or be able to change things in a moment, like pause time, run up.
But when you pause time, would everybody in the world be frozen except for you? Wait, did you say you would slap me?
So that he could press
That's the reason?
As long as I can stop time and keep moving, like I'm extremely fast. You know what I mean? Like time is stopped, but I'm still moving. I can go do things. I could pause, go get some Wendy's, come back, eat my Baconator.
Could you get Wendy's? If you went to pick it up, would it be frozen? Like, could you pick it up?
I think I can still move things. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Marcus
if you slap my face,
vague.
would my face move or would it stay in place? Would it hurt your hand or
move,
my face?
It would hurt your face. It would move you, and I'd put you back, and then you'd just be like, "Ah, that stung."
I'm not talking to you for at least one round because you said that's not my face. Sarah, what's your would you rather?
Let's see.
Oh gosh.
All right. Would you rather have fingers as long as your legs?
Oh my gosh.
Or
Write this.
I like it verse.
Or legs. I can't even read this.
Does it say or legs as long as fingers?
Or legs as short as fingers. It's just a visual. Oh, man.
That is really funny. Good job, Marcus.
Well, considering I'm a dancer, I guess I would have to go with fingers as long as your legs.
Yes.
Because it would be difficult to dance on legs as short.
But easier with
Finger
long
flags.
fingers.
That's fancy.
I mean, if you had fingers as long as your legs, would they be they would be pretty strong maybe, and you could do some cool stuff.
You could dance on your hands.
Yeah.
You could do like handstand dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that one.
You just gave her a superpower on accident. You didn't even realize you were doing that. All right, round 2. Here we go. All right, round 2. Would I rather never see another movie or never hear another song? Why do you do this to me, Marcus? Okay, I'm going to say never see another movie because I do love movies, but I do feel like there's something kind of more like personally special about like songs, getting to just like listen to worship, listen to music while I'm running, stuff like that. So I would say another heartbreaking decision. Movies are out, songs are in.
You are so decisive.
I gotta be. That's leadership,
agree.
bruh.
I agree.
Gotta make hard decisions. All right, Hannah, what's your next? What's your question number 2?
Let's see here. Only drink coffee or never drink coffee?
Oh my.
Like only drink coffee and no food, or just only drink
Like that was
coffee
your
as a
only
drink?
beverage option for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
All forms, iced coffee, hot coffee,
Oh, you
latte.
I
I
do
have
like coffee a
dehydration.
lot, and that would be really sad for me to have a life with no coffee. So I'm gonna go with drink coffee.
Nice.
'Cause,
Good
I could let it
choice.
be a little watered down.
Yeah, you could drink a Sarah
You get
coffee
by.
that's mostly creamer.
It's basically like still being able to have ice cream. So
Pretty much that question is, would you rather be Hannah or rather be Sarah?
obviously, I mean, I'm just kidding.
All right,
I'd much rather
Landon.
be addicted. So.
All right, Landon and I are on speaking terms again.
awesome.
Landon, if
Thank
this
you.
has anything to do with slapping me in the face when I don't know about it, I don't want to hear it.
Not quite. Would you rather use sandpaper as toilet paper
Ooh.
or only use your hand?
Oh!
Marcus, you're a genius.
I feel like these are strategically placed questions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Guys, this is really tough
Ooh,
here.
my gosh.
What level of grit is this sandpaper? Like,
We're clear.
Does it matter?
no, phew. Left hand. Left hand.
Really? Wow.
I'm not going to go with sandpaper. I can't go through that kind
So
of
here's the thing.
torture.
If you had both of yours come true, I know which hand you would slap my face.
That was an excellent correlation. I love
Oh
that.
my.
All right. Oh, that's disgusting.
All right, let's
But
do it.
sandpaper, okay. I'm just going to be scientific here. This isn't
Please.
gross. Your butt would get used to it at some point.
I don't know. Like, one ply never really got used to it. So, I mean, just like,
There is some toilet paper on the market that feels like sandpaper.
that is true.
You already
Shout
made your...
out.
All right. Just Sarah, last
Start
one.
dogging
We have
brands
to
again.
bleep brands. Okay. All right. What does round 2 hold for Sarah? Okay. All right. Would you rather always be covered in honey or covered in bees for a day? Honeybees?
Covered in
ones that
bees for a
sting.
day.
Mean bees. Killer bees.
The answer could be closely related if you saw that movie, My
like,
Girl.
If I don't know. Okay, listen.
Wait, what was it? Covered in honey for your whole life?
Always, yeah. I'd
Yeah,
have to go with the
always.
bees for a day. I could suffer for
That
a
would
day.
be a rough
hopefully
day.
survive it.
That would not be a good day.
Yeah,
that would
especially
be
since I.
Are you allergic to bees? Do you know?
I've been stung by a wasp once, and it like swelled like
So
crazy.
you
but,
probably wouldn't make it. Not gonna lie.
but listen,
You're choosing
so you're
death
choosing
over
the
a
bees?
lifetime of honey.
What's that really sad movie where the little boy loves
what
the girl?
If I'm covered in like
My
a bee
Girl.
suit?
The answer could be closely related if you saw that movie, My Girl.
Like
My
a bee
Girl.
suit.
Right. And then covered
It's
with
not
bees.
just skin.
If
it's
it's
a
just
bee
your
suit.
skin, you will hope to be covered in honey for a while
that's true.
after that.
It's definitely just skin, and it's definitely going to be a My Girl scenario where it's really sad.
I feel like Landon is adding extra rules to these
I'm making them very.
would you rathers.
Yeah,
What if
slapping
you were
people-
covered with bees,
people are
but
dying.
Landon could slap them off your face
That sounds
without you knowing
terrible.
about it? All right, let's talk about
Moving on.
Jonathan's message this week. I thought it was really, really impacting, super helpful, and something that I really appreciate. So we've all heard, for sure, Philippians 4:13 a million times. I do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yeah. He kind of added an extra level of depth, talking about how that's really the contrast of Paul's contentment. Really, he's saying, like, throw it at me. Whatever life brings at me, essentially, is what he's saying. Like, I can find contentment, and here's why. And then Pastor Jonathan really broke it down. Like, I have this relationship. I have this steadfast joy that comes from God. But the other aspect of it that I've never really thought about comes right at the beginning. I think it's verses, so Philippians 4 and then verse 10 and 11. He's talking to the church in Philippi. He's talking about the relationship with them. He's talking about how they want an opportunity, essentially, to connect with Paul, to bless him, and that relationships are a part of that, because it's really easy, I think, especially in Christianity sometimes, especially, from preachers or whatever, to talk about, like, your relationship with God's going to get you through, and the joy of the Lord is your strength. All of that is totally true. But in addition to that, our relationships really represent that joy in our life. Like, our relationships are divine. They come from God. That's a blessing that he's given to us to get through those points. So I loved that point, and just that real focus on relationships. What did you guys get from that?
Yeah, I feel like I love the question, do you have a best friend? Not because it's like, hey, does someone think you're the coolest ever in the world? But like, have you put in the time and effort long term? And sometimes we put in time and effort to those friendships, and they come and go in our lives. But I think that when he talked about, do you have a friend that's there in crisis, or that you would be there for in crisis? I hope that we would all have that. But I think that kind of the unsaid thing there is the harder part in life is walking with someone.
Yeah.
And hearing their mundane, or I have some really close friends, and I'm not great about like connecting every day and telling you every little thing that has happened in my life. But some of my very best friends, I have one in Kansas, I have one, like different places, but they're just ones that I can pick up and call, or they can pick up and call. And sometimes their response or my response will be, oh, we're here again. Like someone that knows your patterns, someone that knows like, okay, you're going around this mountain again. And it's so good to have someone that can like recognize that for you. And you might be going around it again, but you don't realize that you are. And then they'll just be there to be like, hey, what about this? Or I don't know, just kind of help us not get stuck in those patterns, I think is really important. But I also think that friendship can be really hard. I think Sarah and I have talked about this before, that friendship as a mom can be really hard to build and grow and reach out for and stay connected and find time to have some time away from kids to be friends. Like it's hard to do that. And so I think for women it poses a little bit more of a challenge, not only because of that, but also because women are beautifully complicated.
I'm laughing because it's the first time I've ever thought about that concept. That's really interesting.
Or emotionally charged, or whatever you want to call it. But like, women are
really
tough.
hard,
Like
huh?
women's circles can be hard, right? And it's because we all have insecurities and thoughts and this competitive nature secretly inside of us, or not secretly, where we're trying to figure out like, how do I find a friend that I can trust, that I can just call and be like, this is the worst day ever. And they're like, no, it's not, because 3 days ago was. But anyways, like, you know, like it's hard to find those friends. So I think that just to reach out and start those friendships is to take some pressure off yourself. And when I did that, I remember a time in my life, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, that I was like, I have no friends. And I was talking to a friend of mine saying I have no friends. And she's like, yes, you do. She's like, you just have this thing in your head that like you're either close and you're best friends all the time or you're not friends. And she's like, and for me, like every person in every season of my life, like they're still my friend, even though we don't talk every day. And so I think just to expand our horizon of like, okay, these are our friends, or we're praying, God, bring friends into my life, and he's placing them, but we're overlooking some of those things in our life. And I think just not putting this standard of this is what friendship looks like, this is what best friendship looks like, and just putting ourselves out there. My mom always said growing up, if you want a friend, you have to be a friend. And being a friend is hard work. It's hard to be a friend sometimes. Sometimes because you're just so overwhelmed in your own life that it's like, okay, take a minute and look at their life. And so I think journeying to get to a place of friendship or even best friendship is more of a process than I think we recognize at times.
Yeah, if I can kind of speak to this for a moment, I think something that I really struggled with is getting into friendships and feeling like the burden is on me to give the advice and to be the shoulder to cry on and all of those things. And that pattern has sort of created in me a sense of, oh my gosh, if they can't handle their problems, how on earth would they handle mine? Yeah. And so that has caused me to not open up or, to disclose things that, you really need that moment in a friendship of saying like, well, this is what I'm going through. And yeah, me too. And, having that back and forth. And I think, number one, I had to realize that and know that's actually a really unhealthy thing to do to another friend, is to just assume that they don't have the emotional strength and IQ to actually handle what I'm going through as well. But also to give myself permission to get to that place with someone and give myself permission as a mom to actually have those relationships with people, to actually be intentional about, asking people to go out for coffee and when the schedules get tough and nap times don't meet up or, husband's work schedule or whatever, not giving up on it and saying, okay, well, we're going to find a time. Like I want to be intentional about meeting with you at a time when we don't have kids who are, climbing up our leg or screaming, or you're not like, I'm really trying to have a deep conversation with you, but I'm also thinking about how he's eating rocks and might jump off of that and die. That is really hard. And I think that is, not to say that dads don't, have a place in that, but that is a unique struggle
totally
to women, and something that I think can really isolate us and make us feel alone in what we go through if we aren't aware of it, number one, and then number two, have the guts to say like, okay, I'm just going to put myself out there, and I'm going to be intentional about creating this relationship and cultivating it no matter what, even if it's a Marco Polo at 10 p.m. before I'm going to bed or whatever that looks like.
I think that as moms, it's easy to be in this like superhero space of you're like, I got it all under control. I've got a monitor on that and that and that. And you know what I mean? And so we actually have to step out of that in order to engage in friendship. And it takes us a little while sometimes. My kids are a little bit older now, but I remember back in those times, it was like too much effort for me emotionally and physically and relationally to go and like it took me hours, like it would take me hours to disconnect from that in order to just go and take my mask off and relax. And I would get frustrated because my husband's like, I'm gonna go play softball, and he comes back all full and like took not much effort to like connect, and you know what I mean? And it was like,
I know what you mean.
And I want him to have good friendships, and I love that, and like it's so important in his life. But to be honest with you, like it brought some jealousy for me that like, how is this fair that we have children together and I'm off having coffee with my friend, still half my mind is at home, and you're like completely free and disconnected and like having a great time. And so I just think that, I mean, my husband is my very best friend, but I think that there's a reality, and he can't be the woman friend that I need. Right. I tried that for a few years, like expecting these things out of him, poor guy. And then I learned that is just not possible. And I don't want him to be that for me because I want him to be a man, But I had to admit, like, I need this in my life.
Yeah.
And it's going to take some effort for me to get there.
I think that for me, just knowing the perspective of my wife is, I have had great friendships. I didn't have them in junior high really until high school was when I started developing like a deep like best friend. Through college, had best friends, and but I watched my wife as we had kids start to disconnect a little bit more from those friendships because it, like you said, she's like, it's just so hard, like finding someone at the same time who their kids are going to be asleep, like you said, or other situations where it's just like, now I have kids, but these people, we had kids younger, and she says the same thing, like, I get jealous, like I want that, but I don't know how to ask for that. Like, I don't know how to put the effort forth to do it because it just seems like every time I try, it just doesn't work out. And so she's like, it's just almost not worth my time. And so I feel like I have to continually like push her into that place. And when she does, when she does reach out and make those connections, it's so life-giving to her. And I watch the fruit of it in her life, and I watch how she's like just comes alive, and it breathes new just rejuvenation into her spirit. And so like, it's just like, as a husband, I think we almost have to push our wives into that place to say, hey, you can trust me. I promise I won't burn the house down. Like, they're going to be fed and in bed. But like, I think we have to be super intentional as husbands to communicate that to you guys, to make you feel confident that I can disconnect from that. Like, I can just go have fun with my friends, disengage, not think about the kids, know they're going to be taken care of and put to bed on time and everything. But I do think it takes intentionality on our part to communicate that and to provide that opportunity for our wives.
Yeah, totally. And I appreciate Hannah and Sarah, you sharing that perspective. I think it's super important. And certainly like husbands have a role to offer their wives, like, how can I give you a break? How can I give you time to do this? Stay out late, like hang out, have a good time. Like, I've got this. I've got the kids. Everything's good, because I think there is a definitely unique challenge, especially moms of younger kids. Our oldest daughter just became middle school age, so she can actually like legally babysit now. It's amazing. It changes our lives, But it's like really that. But I mean, that means does everyone have to wait until your child hits 12 years old before they're able to do this? No. The answer is no. My daughter will babysit for all of you. But finding that time is super important. I think as husbands, we can help our wives find that. And like Hannah, you were saying too, like you want that for us. I think it's something healthy when we want that for each other, because those friendships, they help our lives grow. Like when my friendships are strengthened, I do feel more intentional with my marriage, with my kids. I think all of those things like benefit each other. When I learn to grow in trust with one friend more, my other friends benefit from my trust levels with them. Like it really is it's really a God-given like healthy thing, And I just want to close and just maybe share a thought before we wrap up today, but just Pastor Jonathan also talked about how that really is a key to contentment in our life. And I know there's been seasons in my life where I've been really concerned. Like I've started to weigh in a lot of like heavy financial responsibilities. Can I take this? I got to pay bills. I got to do this. What if I lose my house? What if, all these things. Yeah. But there really is something kind of rock solid about, anything like that in my life can change. I could lose my job. I could lose my house. Like I could have a hard time, with this or that. I have a work ethic. That's great. But more importantly than that, I have friends. I have relationships. Like, no matter what, like I'm with my wife, like for better or for worse, like for better or for worse, I'm with my kids, Yeah. I have friends that even if I got to that point, they're going to help take care of me. Like those things are so important that's where we can really find contentment. And then of course, just that stability of our relationship with God that helps us drive with peace and joy. I know that really has helped me actually shift my mind in moments that I could be pretty stressed out otherwise.
So good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So good.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Good podcast, good times. Would you rather? I am really concerned about getting slapped in the face. If my face ever just hurts randomly, I'm going to blame you.
If I get a cool new watch, just watch out.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. We're going to pray together as a small group. Hope you will do the same. Have a great week.